kids feeling what I felt. The world ended. I felt like, I felt guilty. What did I do wrong that made my father get up and leave without explaining anything? So
imagine growing up with a father who breathes fire, spits blood, and is known worldwide as the Demon. For most kids, that would be the stuff of nightmares. But for Sophie Simmons, it was just Tuesday. As the daughter of Kiss frontman Gene Simmons, Sophie has lived a life that most people can't even imagine. Caught between the larger-than-life persona of one of rock's most iconic figures and the surprisingly normal dad who came home every night. Now, after years of staying relatively quiet about her unique upbringing, Sophie is finally opening up about what it was really like growing up as Gene Simmons' daughter. Her revelations will shock you, from the strict household rules that contradicted his rock star image, to the embarrassing moments that come with having a father who's famous for his tongue, to the surprising life lessons she learned from the Demon himself. The Demon at home, a surprisingly normal dad. The biggest shock in Sophie's revelations isn't about wild rock star behavior. It's about how surprisingly normal and strict her father was at home. While the world knew Gene Simmons as the fire-breathing, blood-spitting demon of Kiss, Sophie grew up with a man who was obsessed with homework, bedtimes, and teaching his children the value of hard work. Sophie has often described the stark contrast between her father's public persona and his private personality. While fans expected a household filled with rock and roll excess, the reality was quite different. Gene Simmons, despite his outrageous stage character, maintained a surprisingly traditional and disciplined home environment. The man who shocked audiences with his theatrical performances was actually a teetotaler who never drank alcohol or used drugs. This philosophy extended to his parenting style, where he emphasized education, responsibility, and financial literacy over the typical rock star lifestyle. Sophie grew up in a household where academic achievement was prioritized and where her father's business acumen was on full display. Gene's approach to parenting reflected his own immigrant background and his mother's influence. Having grown up with a Holocaust survivor mother who instilled strong values about hard work and perseverance, Gene brought these same principles to raising Sophie and her brother Nick. The result was a childhood that was simultaneously extraordinary due to her father's fame, yet grounded in surprisingly conventional values. Sophie's upbringing was also shaped by her father's famous work ethic. Gene Simmons is known for his relentless pursuit of business opportunities and his dedication to the Kiss brand. But at home, this translated into teaching his children about responsibility, goal setting, and the importance of creating their own success rather than relying on their family name. The reality TV years, life under the cameras. One of the most public aspects of Sophie's childhood was the family's reality show, Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, which aired from 2006 to 2012. Sophie has now opened up about what it was really like growing up with cameras documenting her family's every move, and how this experience shaped her perspective on fame and privacy. Sophie reflected on the reality show experience, saying, "It was weird, but it was also our normal. We got to travel the world, but we also had to film it." This statement captures the unique challenge of having your teenage years documented for public consumption, while trying to maintain some semblance of a normal family life. The show provided viewers with an unprecedented look into the Simmons household, revealing Gene's surprisingly hands-on parenting style and his relationship with longtime partner Shannon Tweed. For Sophie, this meant that typical teenage experiences like dating, school events, and family conflicts were all potential content for the show. Despite the intrusion of cameras, Sophie has spoken positively about the experience, noting that it allowed her family to share their genuine dynamics with the world. The show revealed that behind the Kiss makeup and theatrical performances, the Simmons family dealt with the same issues as any other family: homework, chores, relationship advice, and the challenges of raising teenagers. Sophie's experience on the reality show also taught her valuable lessons about the entertainment industry from an early age. She learned about production, editing, and the difference between public personas and private realities. This early exposure to the business side of entertainment would later influence her own career choices and her understanding of fame's complexities. The embarrassing moments and protective father. Sophie's revelations include some hilariously embarrassing moments that come with having one of rock's most recognizable figures as your father. From school events to dating experiences, Sophie had to navigate the unique challenges of being Gene Simmons' daughter in everyday situations. One of the most telling quotes from Sophie about her father's protective nature came when she said, "He's always been very protective. When I started dating, it was an experience for everyone involved." This understated comment hints at the intimidating experience that potential boyfriends faced when meeting the legendary Kiss frontman. Sophie has shared stories about how her father's fame created awkward situations throughout her childhood and teenage years. School events became complicated when other parents recognized her father, and simple activities like going to the movies or restaurants often turned into impromptu meet and greet sessions with fans. The most challenging aspect wasn't just the attention, but explaining her father's stage persona to friends and classmates. Sophie once noted, "When I was really little, it was scary. Then it was embarrassing. My friends would be like, 'Your dad spits blood.' Now I just see it as his job. A very weird job." This evolution in her understanding shows how she gradually came to terms with her father's unique career. Dating presented particular challenges, as Sophie revealed that potential boyfriends had to navigate not just normal parental approval, but also the intimidation factor of dating the daughter of a rock legend known for his aggressive stage presence. Could you imagine trying to impress a girl's father when that father is famous for breathing fire and having a tongue that's become a cultural icon? Sophie's ability to find humor in these situations speaks to her resilience and the strong foundation her parents provided, despite the unusual circumstances of her upbringing. Business lessons from the demon. Perhaps the most valuable aspect of Sophie's upbringing was the business education she received from her father. Gene Simmons is not just a rock star. He's a marketing genius and astute businessman who has built Kiss into one of the most merchandised brands in entertainment history. Sophie learned early that success requires more than just talent. It demands hard work, smart business decisions, and financial responsibility. Gene's famous philosophy about money and work ethic was consistently reinforced in the Simmons household. As Sophie recalled, he always taught us the value of a dollar. Nothing was handed to us on a silver platter. If we wanted something, we had to work for it. This approach extended to Gene's famous statement to his children, "I'm rich, you're not. You're going to have to make your own money." While this might sound harsh, Sophie has explained that this philosophy taught her independence and self-reliance. Rather than creating entitled children who expected to live off their father's success, Gene ensured that both Sophie and Nick understood the importance of creating their own paths. The business lessons weren't just theoretical. They were practical applications of entrepreneurship and brand building. Sophie watched her father turn Kiss into a billion-dollar brand through strategic merchandising, licensing deals, and careful brand management. These lessons influenced her own career choices and her approach to building her personal brand. Finding her own voice and identity. The most important aspect of Sophie's story is how she used her unique upbringing to forge her own identity and career path. Rather than being overshadowed by her father's massive fame, Sophie has worked to establish herself as an individual with her own talents and perspectives. Sophie has been candid about the challenges of establishing her own identity while being known primarily as Gene Simmons' daughter. She stated, "It's a blessing and a curse. I get opportunities because of my name, but I also have to work twice as hard to prove myself." This honest assessment shows her understanding of both the advantages and disadvantages of her famous lineage. Her career in music and entertainment has been deliberately separate from Kiss, allowing her to develop her own artistic voice. Sophie has emphasized the importance of her music speaking for itself, saying, "I want my music to speak for itself. It's important for me to have my own voice." This determination to succeed on her own merits reflects the independence her father instilled in her. The relationship between Sophie and her father has evolved as she's become an adult. While she respects his achievements and appreciates the lessons he taught her, she's also established boundaries that allow her to be her own person. Gene's support for her independent career choices shows that his parenting philosophy of encouraging self-reliance has been successful. What do you think about Gene Simmons' parenting philosophy of making his children earn their own success? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this look into the private life of a rock legend's family, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Faxverse, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating stories from the world of entertainment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.